Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the studentloanjustice.org live stream for Monday, August 28th, 2023. Wow, August came and went, and here we are looking at September. September 1st, interest on student loans begins to accrue again, guys. This is kind of an historic occasion if you think about it. We've been, 3.5 years now with no interest accruing. Inflation came and sucked every spare nickel that we were saving out of us. And now, apparently, they expect us to begin paying again. So that's terrible, guys. You know, $100 billion a year clicks off on the nation's debt tab in interest alone on student loans every year. That's just on federal loans, by the way. If you include private student loans, it's probably $115 or so billion, maybe $20 billion. That's all money that's created out of thin air. It is sucked, theoretically, out of our pockets and sent to Washington, D.C. by and large. Think about that. That's profit. And this is for a lending program that in 1965, when the Higher Education Act was created, they declared, LBJ himself, the president, declared that the loans would be free of interest. So think about that, guys. Now, the good news is, and if you're new to the group, welcome, by the way. We are studentloanjustice.org. We've been doing this for 18 years, guys. We know how to solve the student loan problem. It starts with returning bankruptcy to the loans, believe it or not, whether you would ever or never file for bankruptcy. But the good news is, guys, before the pandemic, and this is true, before the pandemic, 58.9%, that's almost 60% of all borrowers. That's like 3 in 5 student loan borrowers were not paying on their student loans before the pandemic. So what do you think that's going to go up to? Your guess is probably almost as good as mine. I suspect that maybe 25% of the borrowers will resume paying when they turn the loans back on. I think it'll be lower than that, though. And I think within 6 months from now, it'll be far lower than that, like 15 or 20%. So what do you call it when 4 out of 5 of the borrowers of a lending program are not making payments? That's kind of a finished, done, fake, pretend, non-existent, illegitimate lending system. In the case of student loans, it's not a lending system, it's a loan scam. Founding fathers called for uniform bankruptcy rights in the Constitution. They did. It's been uniquely stripped from student loans. That makes them unconstitutional. But, you know, every other loan just about out there has statutes of limitations, has fair debt collection practice laws, has truth in lending laws. Federal student loans have been stripped of all of those, guys. They've been weaponized. They've been turned into licenses to steal. So if you're sick of it, as I am, having done this, like, it feels like 24/7, and that's pretty close to the truth. Nearly every waking hour, it would seem to me, studying this lending scam for the past 18 years has informed me that we don't have to put up with this bullshit, ladies and gentlemen. The founding fathers are on our side. And quite frankly, at this late date, the loans should be canceled. Donald Trump's biggest mistake as president in his first 4 years was not simply canceling the entire lending program, cancel all the loans, suspend/end the lending program, and replace it with something that is fair and fair priced and not predatory. Like, hopefully not even loans, but whatever. I'm agnostic on that point. So anyways, as I said, if you're new to the group, welcome. We've been around for 18 years, guys. We've been living and breathing this problem. We've seen all the tricks and the traps in Washington, D.C. We, on this group, know how to solve the student loan problem. And begging Joe Biden to cancel loans is not how that is going to work. It's not how that's going to work. Over many years, guys, we've seen the establishment, the lending swamp, if you will, the student loan snakes in Washington, D.C. They have teased us with any number of loan cancellation gimmicks, like all of the income-driven repayment plans, IBR, pay-as-you-earn, revised pay-as-you-earn, revised pay-as-you-earn, aka the SAVE program, which we're now hearing about, which is just ridiculous. Guys, we don't have to take this nonsense. We're a better country than this. Student loans are becoming one big national joke. And if you agree, you came to the right place. So tonight, first of all, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments or the questions in the comment section below on Facebook, Twitter, if I can see them. And that's not always a guarantee, but if I can see them, and I'm refreshing my screen now, I will certainly respond to them in stream. I have a couple of quick announcements. We should be seeing hopefully a good national newspaper story out this week. In the past few months, we've been featured on Fox News, at The Guardian. In the past year, we've been featured on pretty much everything. New York Times, Guardian, Fox News, MSNBC. So we run the gamut. We're firstly nonpartisan groups, so you know. But we should be seeing some good media come out this week, and I'll let you know when that happens. Thanks to everyone who has been donating lately. You know who you are. We appreciate you greatly. We don't require much at all to survive and fight and win this battle. Like $3,000 a month or something like that is pretty much what our expenses are, maybe a little more sometimes. But if you can please donate at this time, and this is the second announcement, please donate so I can shut up about fundraising, guys. I really suck at it. And I hope that if you've been with this group for any length of time, you've seen how hard that we work and you've seen what we've gotten done. I mean, we would not be talking about student loan cancellation by executive order, but for this group and our petition, all the hard work of us and our members and many people that got that thing into the public spotlight and finally got it into being an actual thing. Despite the fact that the Supreme Court killed it, but that battle is not yet over. So, but guys, I'm here to tell you, bankruptcy is the number one thing everyone needs to be fighting for. Unless and until we get the leverage of bankruptcy returned, we will be begging Joe Biden forever and ever, or the next president forever and ever, to cancel loans. And what we'll see is the nonsense that they just trotted out and they got swatted down by the Supreme Court. It's nonsense, guys. Got to get bankruptcy back. The founding fathers called for it ahead of the power to declare war, ahead of the power to raise an army. Founding fathers called for uniform bankruptcy laws ahead of the power to the right to bear arms and the right to free speech and all of the rights enumerated in the Bill of Rights. So that is how important bankruptcy is. Nobody wants to file, least of all me, least of all you. Hopefully very few people will even have to file, but we've got to get the power of bankruptcy back on our side. And that is the most important thing I'll say tonight. So tonight, I just want to tell you guys, it's a very important, critical time for us because interest begins clicking off on our asses this week, actually, September 1st. And then October 1st, the first payments are due. This could get very ugly if we don't have bankruptcy rights returned. We've got to get bankruptcy rights returned, guys. When we get bankruptcy rights returned, I think it'll become pretty apparent that they're going to have to cancel loans without people filing for bankruptcy. They're going to have to cancel loans broadly, deeply, meaningfully, maybe even totally. I think the smart people in Washington, D.C. know what I know. And what I know is that this lending system has catastrophically failed. And for all involved, it's probably the best thing to simply cancel all the loans, scrap the lending system, and start fresh with something brand new, a brand new way to fund higher education in this country. And I know that sounds like a scary thought to some people, but guys, we're a bigger country than that. We've won world wars. We created the nuclear bomb. We went to the moon in freaking less time than it took this student loan monstrosity to grow into the cancer, the dangerous cancer it's become. And lending systems fail from time to time. So get used to the idea of talking about student loans in the past tense. That's true. Take it from me. And Google this group if you have any doubts about our contribution to student loan cancellation. And we are pretty much the only reason that we've seen any decent bankruptcy legislation in Congress over the past 10, 15 plus years, actually. That's true. We need your help. This is a working, fighting group. On paper, we have over 1.4 million members. But guys, that's honestly, I'm just going to say that's pretty meaningless unless people out there are actually helping us fight. If you're a wallflower and you want to sit and wait and watch and worry and you treat this like entertainment, it is not. You should go away. Come back when you're ready to help us fight. So what we need people to do right now is get us into a meeting with your member of the House of Representatives. Now, that goes for everyone, including you. No matter who you are, no matter who your House rep is, you need to call them and get us into a meeting with them. Say that you want to meet with their judiciary staffer and tell them that you want to bring someone from Student Loan Justice, that's us, onto the meeting. And we are very happy to take it from there. Honestly, you don't even have to be at the meeting if you really don't want to, if you can get away with it. But we will do most or all of the talking if we have to. But you, the constituent, have to set this meeting up. So look at the thing scrolling below. You can see our contact information. You've got to put a meeting together with your member of the House of Representatives. We will come in, do all the heavy lifting. We're trying to make it as easy as possible for you, but you have got to set them up so we can knock them down. I don't think that's too much to ask, ladies and gentlemen. And these are your loans, and this is your problem. And this whole thing starts up again this week. And it's going to get very, very, very ugly if the constitutionally enshrined right of bankruptcy remains gone from us. And that's probably the most important thing that you need to know about, the most practical bit of advice that I can give you as a student loan borrower. Got to get bankruptcy rights back. It's going to get very ugly when they turn these loans back on, because remember, the student debt collection industry has not been making much money over the past 3.5 years. They are hungry. They are sharpening their knives. And despite this gradual ease into repayment, or whatever the Biden people are saying, it's going to get ugly. It will, guys. They're going to be harassing us. They're going to be pressuring us. They're going to be pulling every trick in the book to get as much money out of us as possible. It's going to be a feeding frenzy, and we are the main course. And hopefully you don't want that. And if that's true, then we need you fighting with us, and we need you to get us into a meeting with your member of the House of Representatives. You cannot unhear that. We are the pioneers in this group. On paper, we have 1.4 million members, but that's meaningless, guys. It's meaningless, because on any given day, I don't see more than a couple hundred people doing anything. So you watching this live stream, are a pioneer in this fight, whether you want to be or not. We're all accidental activists on this group. Take it for what it is. It's not that bad. Join the people on this group who are doing the maybe not sexy work, but the very necessary work of making these meetings happen. And I would also say, this is a very good point. We're meeting with legislators on a daily basis, but we need to meet with way more, way quicker. I would like to meet with all 535 members of Congress, including the Senate, within 3 months, if we possibly could. I know that's a lot. We could do it. I mean, I can do 3-4 meetings a day if I absolutely have to. I can pull that off. But it all starts with you. But in particular, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be probably legislation that comes through the judiciary committees of both the House and the Senate. So in particular, I want all of you to go to, I believe it's judiciary.house.gov, or just Google the House Judiciary Committee and look at the membership list for that committee, both a Democratic list and a Republican list. Check and see if your member of the House of Representatives just so happens to be on the Judiciary Committee. If they are, then that's good, and we need to meet with them even more. What you do becomes even more important. All members are important, but Judiciary Committee members are particularly important. So check it out. And if you don't know who your House rep is, just Google "find my House rep," and you can very easily find out who your House rep is. I know probably not even half the people out there actually know who their member of Congress in the House of Representatives is. Not hard, guys. Not hard. So that's basically all I had to say tonight. This is a very serious battle, guys. I know we don't seem like that important of a group, but I'm here to tell you that this group is leading the national fight in the battle to actually, not pretend, actually solve the student loan problem. And, like a broken record, calling on Joe Biden to cancel student loans. We've seen how that goes. We've seen what we're going to get by doing that, like a broken record. It ain't going to happen, guys. Got to have power on our side first. In order to have power on our side, we've got to get the leverage of bankruptcy that the founding fathers knew were so important. They called for them ahead of the right to assemble and the right to assemble, peaceably assemble. So hopefully that's clear. Hopefully you understand how important this fight is. Hopefully you are as sick as I am of your student loans. We don't expect you to be an expert on student loans. Nobody is. I mean, most people on this group, they don't know much about student loans beyond the fact that they have them and they really suck and there's something really creepy and not right about them. Well, I would urge you to maybe educate yourself a little bit on the student loan problem. Maybe go to our Medium channel and read some of our articles. And maybe that is the last thing I'll say today. We just published an article there, studentloanjustice.medium.com, that talks about the new bankruptcy process. I would urge you to please read that article. The new bankruptcy process is a cruel joke. It's setting people up for failure. And it's no better than what it was before. Bankruptcy is still, for all intents, impossible for discharge for student loans. So don't even trip. But I would say read many of our articles. Read 5, 6, 7 of our articles so you can understand some basic, key, unreported, largely, facts about the student loan problem that when you know them, it will make you a very much more powerful, fierce, formidable, and feared student loan justice warrior. And as corny as it may sound, guys, we're it. We are the heart of the battle for good things happening with student loans. And so you can't unhear that. You have no idea how important you are, in the immortal words of fictional hero John Connor from Terminator 2 and 3. But I hope that what I've said tonight has rang a bell with some of you. I'm sorry if I wasn't able to get to all the comments. We have a few comments here. I'm sorry I missed them. Just seeing them now. Hey, Lisa Ansel is with us from California. Hey, Lisa. Lisa got us into a great meeting with a very key elected official in California today. I'm not going to say who. Thank you for that, Lisa. Lisa says, all the lube in the world won't ease that return to repayment. Yeah. Yeah, I liken it to, Joe Biden like flipping a switch, and on the other side of the switch, there's nothing but like broken, frazzled wires, just nonsense. It's just not going to happen. But Lisa says, all the more urgent if your rep and senators are on the judiciary committees. Yes, exactly what I was just saying, Lisa. Lisa's way ahead of me on that. And Lisa also says, we will never go back to a system that is devoid of all constitutional rights and by design ensnares people into a lifetime of indentured servitude. Exactly. I'm not going to go on too long here, but the Founding Fathers called for uniform bankruptcy laws, aka rights. That's true. They also called for equal protection under the law, and we are not afforded equal protection under the bankruptcy laws. That is us student loan borrowers. That's both private and federal, guys. Whether you have private student loans, federal student loans, we're fighting for you, and we know the way to win. But the founders also outlawed not only slavery in Article 13, they also outlawed indentured servitude. And as you look at the 90+% of people who, despite all the stuff you see in the media right now about people getting their loans canceled, the 90+% of people who are being disqualified out of those income-driven repayment plans, and they wind up paying on these loans for 30, 40, 50 plus years, that's indentured servitude, guys. That is the modern version of indentured servitude. So no matter how you slice or dice the student loan scam, it's a scam. It's unconstitutional. We don't have to put up with this shit. So find yourself some courage, find yourself some spine, and jump into this battle, because we need brave, courageous people. And if you sit there and wait and watch and worry and wonder what they are going to do about student loans while you sit there and do nothing, what they're going to do is screw you for the rest of your life. It's what they've done for the past 30 plus years. And that's what they will continue to do as long as you do nothing. We need you in this fight. We don't need wallflowers. We don't need fakes. We don't need pretenders. We need people who are fighters and are willing to stand up. And at a minimum, I would say do our daily actions. Go to our website. We do daily actions every day. They're very quick. Getting us into a meeting with your House of Representatives, particularly and especially if they're on the Judiciary Committee, and on from there. This is a very noble battle that we're fighting. It's a very good battle to be fighting. I think Lisa would agree. It's a very cathartic battle to be fighting. It feels good to fight this fight because we're doing the right thing. And all we're doing is telling the truth. And we're fighting for far more than just us, guys. If they can do to other loans what they've done to student loans, they will. And the bad people, dark forces in this country will conquer and enslave this country in debt. So you better get in this battle, because if you're not in it, we're losing it. And ideally, I'd love to get bankruptcy returned by October 1st. That's 1 month from now. I see very little chance of that happening realistically. But hey, it's better to shoot for the stars and hit the moon, right? Than to do nothing. So what else were you going to do besides wait and watch and worry? That doesn't do you any good. It doesn't do us any good. What does everybody good is when you help us fight. So, okay, guys. I'm sorry if I missed some of your comments. I do that sometimes, but I'm at my time. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Good luck. Godspeed. Doing our daily actions, getting us into a meeting with your House rep for the 13th time today. See you tomorrow. And God bless everyone.